my name is Kelly Sauter. I think that, like I said, 99% of you know me really well. Toby, I think I've shaken your hand. Boy, my grammar's going. That's bad. I think I've met you at least once, but I don't think we've talked a whole lot. And I don't know who the phone number is at the bottom. It doesn't have a name. But essentially,
Yes.
Should I try again? Nope, still disabled. I am your resident life insurance lady. And in hopes of still getting my screen shareable, I guess I'll just tell you a little bit about myself first. I have 2 kids currently, or if you want to say 2.5, I'm due in September. And so that's both exciting and so scary because the 2 that I already have are a lot of work and a lot of fun, and I'm very sleep deprived, and I don't know how a third one is going to work in. So any of you more than 2 kids out there, I am very open. You know, you can fill out the chat box or text any advice that you have. Very, very open to that. So this one is going to be another boy because apparently Josh only makes boys, despite my one little girl. And then, fun fact, he says that we only have a kid. And so if I really want a girl next, then we better adopt. So, you know, we'll see how that goes.
Can you try again? Try to share again.
Yes. Yay, it worked. Okay, so this,
Yay,
my youngest son was born. So this is an old picture because he's about to turn 2 in another couple of months. But Josiah is the one in the red shirt, and then Malachi is the little infant there, and that's obviously, you know, Josh and me. So these are my babies. These are my world. And the funny thing is that I was always the kid person growing up. You know, I'm the oldest of 5 kids, first of all. I am in the oldest tier of our 50 some odd cousins. My dad was a pastor, my mom was a teacher, so I was always in charge of the after school care or the before school care or the mother's room or the entertaining the kids while the adults are in the Bible study room or whatever the case may be. And then it wasn't until I just thought that I would, you know, get married in high school or college, kind of like my parents did, and start a family right away. And I didn't even meet this wonderful man until I think 2 years, 3 years after college. So kind of funny how life takes a different turn than you think. But recently I have been sharing with you guys that we have rebranded as the How Money Works company. And I am so excited about that because as important and necessary as life insurance is, I think that knowing and understanding how money works is even more important because unfortunately what has been illustrated in these past several months is the fact that 95% of the people living in this country right now don't know how money works. They live paycheck to paycheck, and it doesn't matter if that paycheck is $1,000 or $10,000. They're all living at a varied level of broke. And as soon as that job was gone, they were hitting up unemployment because they had no savings. They had no, you know, backup, anything. And so we've got to get away from this culture of spending everything we make and not saving anything and not having basic protections like life insurance and not investing anything either. And so something that somebody brought up to me a little while ago is so many people who don't have life insurance or don't have enough life insurance, their kind of excuse is, oh, well, you know, we could live on one income, we just don't. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about how many families live on 2 working people's income, you know, whether one is super high or not, like 2 incomes run most families. So I want you to think of, and I won't ask you to raise hands or anything like that, but I want you to think of your own personal family. Are you the sole breadwinner, the sole income person, or are there 2 in your household? Now, if you're the sole one, then obviously if something happens to you, you know, you're in trouble. But if there are 2, this is the second question I want you to ask yourself. Is your spouse or you, depending, right, Are you guys as a couple saving 100% and not spending any of that second income? Or does that second income get thrown in the mix and used for stuff? Because unless you can say yes to that question, unless you are completely and totally saving that entire second income, guess what? It doesn't matter if there's two incomes in the household, you're using both of them and you need both of them. And I promise you, if one of them went away tomorrow, it would make for some drastic changes in your household, some more drastic than others. So I want to kind of go over the top 10 reasons people don't buy life insurance. So I literally, oops, hold on. There we go. I literally just Googled it. And so this is not anything put out by my company. It's just one that I found super interesting. So the number one reason, I want to get my little highlighter tool. Hold on a second. Blah. Not share screen. Where's my toolbar? Maybe I don't have it because I'm not the host. You know that toolbar that says annotate? Does anybody know what it would be hiding?
I don't.
All right, well, apparently I'm not going to annotate. Oh, well. Okay, so you can see the number one reason is they think that life insurance costs too much or they can't afford it. So that's a valid concern. You know, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. You know, food is more important than life insurance. However, I think that it's very much a misunderstanding that most people can't afford it. And to illustrate that, I'm going to go right over here and show you guys what it looks like. Okay. So let's pretend that.
Ellie, are you trying to share your screen?
Yeah, is it not showing?
No, it's not showing now.
Oh, thank you very much. Let me share it again. Ta-da! Okay, can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I will. Okay, perfect. So let's say client Jane Doe wants to buy some life insurance, and she is 45 years old, and she lives in the great state of Texas. And she is a she. And let's just quote her standard non-smoker. So you can see she can get all the way up to preferred plus if she's a healthy person, but let's just do standard. For the moment, we'll skip extra stuff. 500,000 is a very generic amount that would, be helpful to a lot of people. So we will just leave that alone. And let's go to reports and summary. So as you can see, for a 10-year, hold on one second, I want to go to the other one before I do the trend setter. Give me this one. Okay, for the 10-year super product, I have to move you guys' faces out of the way so I can see. It is a whopping $43.86 a month. This is, again, assuming that she's healthy enough to get a standard rating, and this is for $500,000. So if you can't afford $43.86 a month, okay, let's lower the death benefit a little bit, because in a perfect world, you probably have millions of dollars of life insurance, right? But at least something is better than nothing. At least having that, liquid cash available to help deal with whatever it is better than having to fall back on the savings that you may or may not have in the bank. So $43.86, going all the way to a 30-year term, that's $124 a month. So that's, a little more, but let's be honest. At least before this pandemic, how many people spent $124 on a date night or taking their kids to the movies? Just once, much less a couple times a month. So we're not talking about obscene amounts of money. Now, here's the super cool thing is this Trendsetter Super is your literal plain vanilla term. It's a death benefit. That's really all it is. But we have another kind called the Trendsetter LB. LB stands for living benefits. And as you can see, it doesn't cost that much more. It's $49 versus $43. It's, $96 versus $110. So we're talking, between $5 and $15 difference. But let's look at what. Sorry, I got my things out of order. Oh, that was my PowerPoint. That's why. Ta-da! Let's talk about what those living benefits mean. Living benefits means, yes, if you die, your family gets this money. But let's be honest, if you're a 45-year-old lady and you got a 30-year term policy, that policy runs out at 75. So maybe you die, maybe you didn't, right? If you're healthy, then hopefully you didn't die by 75. You're probably going to live into your hundreds. So in that case, in that scenario that you live, if you outlive your term, you really just gave them all that money for the just in case, but it didn't do you any good, right? So when it's that term living benefit, it actually also covers you for critical illness, chronic illness, and terminal illness. I was trying to, do the critical, chronic, terminal at the same time, but oh well. So let's look at examples of critical illness. If you have a heart attack, if you have a stroke or cancer or renal failure, ALS, like all of these things fall under that critical illness category. So the cool thing is, let's go back to that $500,000 benefit. If you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, if you need to, take some of that death benefit out in order to deal with these critical illnesses, then that's money that's yours. And you still don't get the full death benefit if you take some out and use it, but even if you use the max allowable that they allow you to use, it still leaves you a death benefit. And so it's just super neat to be able to have basically a bucket with two spigots, right? Spigot number one is you literally die. Here's this spigot that gives you this death benefit. But spigot number two, if you just need the money for one of these major health things, then guess what? You can have some. And so the next one, if my thing will let me switch pages here. There we go. Is chronic illness. So chronic illness is pretty simple. It's kind of a long-term care situation, right? So let's say you get in a car wreck and break a leg and you cannot transfer yourself, right? You're not mobile. You can't get from the bed to the chair to the toilet to the whatever, right? Or let's say you can't toilet yourself is another thing. You can't use the restroom by yourself. If you are unable to perform 2 of the required 6 daily living activities, then you can, for 90 days, then you can take, again, that second spigot, you can take some of this money out to help deal with that. Maybe you need to build a wheelchair ramp on your house, or maybe you need to pay your daughter-in-law to move in with you and help take care of you for a little while, or maybe you can't stand your daughter-in-law and you want to pay somebody from Meredith's company to come in, right? So it doesn't matter what you use the money for. Honestly, maybe you just need to pay the mortgage because you haven't been able to go to work. It doesn't matter what the money is for. If you qualify under this chronic illness piece, then you can get some of that money if you need it and use it for whatever you need. Now, this terminal illness, honestly, is most policies just have it no matter what. If you're basically diagnosed with something that you are expected to die in the next 12 months, you don't have to die, but if you're just expected to, then if you want to, you can take that money out. And, whether you want to go get experimental treatment that insurance doesn't pay for, or you want to be like Queen Latifah in that one movie and go explore the world, whatever it is you want to do. So again, just the death benefit. Let's go back to the other screen. Bum, bum, bum. My least favorite thing about Zoom meetings is constantly moving everybody's faces so that I can use my screen. Oh, I found the annotate button. Okay, so the difference between the plain vanilla, you get a death benefit, and the LB with the living benefits, $49.88 versus $43.86. So not that big a difference. And this is not even getting into permanent life insurance. So right now I'm just dealing with the it's too expensive caveat, right? So if you really care about your family, I have a really hard time believing you can't afford less than $50 a month. Okay, let's go back real quick to the top 10 reasons. Reason number 2. I have plenty of assets. I don't need to, have life insurance for my loved ones. I have tons of money. Okay, so unless you literally have that cash that they were joking about in the mattress, you probably don't actually want to just cash out all of your assets to deal with a death in the family. Because number one, liquidity is important. You can't, let's say you own rental homes. I have nothing against rental homes. I had one for a long time, was able to sell it at a big profit. I'm super excited. I'll get another one in the future. Like, rental homes are a good thing. But if my husband died yesterday, I can't really sell the rental home and get cash today. It doesn't work like that. And as far as investments go, and you can always ask Corey lots of questions about this, like, it may not be the best idea to cash something out, especially let's say that the market was here when you invested and it's here now when you want to put the money out. So you don't want to take your investments out while it's down. You would be much better to let the market climb its way back up, let some life insurance deal with your life emergency while the market is down, and then, use your investments and take a profit later. We could, if anybody has any specific questions on that, like, I'm very, very happy to do question and answer and stuff, but I think that makes sense, hopefully. Okay, let's go back to mouse. Okay, number 3, I'm healthy. Good, I'm glad you're healthy. That's a good thing. Has anybody ever known somebody that has been healthy one day and in the hospital the next? Or healthy the last time you talked to them and 6 months have passed and all of a sudden you find out that, they're battling, I'm just going to say who's-he-what's disease, right? Because I don't want to put anything out there in the universe, right? But an example that I will use is that I got a client of mine approved with life insurance, not at standard, but at the preferred plus, the top health rating, and 6 months later, he got diagnosed with cancer. Now, the cool thing is, once you get the life insurance, and if you pay the life insurance like you're supposed to, his cancer diagnosis didn't take that away. It's not like, health insurance or car insurance where you get in an accident and now your rates go up. Like, once you lock in those rates at that health standard, whatever it is, that's what you get. And it was such a huge blessing for them because, yeah, it sucked that he had cancer, but at least he's not faced with the fact of he was a fairly young guy too. It was a while back. He was in like his 40s, I think. And so he didn't have enough saved to take care of his family without his income. He didn't have enough saved to put his kids through college if he wasn't there. It was such a huge relief to his family, even though obviously they would wish that he didn't have cancer, that they had already taken that. So if you're healthy, great. Perfect point. Get it now while you're healthy, because you're not guaranteed what's going to happen tomorrow. Number 4, I've got too many other things to worry about. So I would say that this is probably people's biggest off-putting thing that they come up with is because it's so much easier to put it off till later. Because today, you didn't die, your spouse didn't die, you can live without it. And so it's so much easier to put it off to tomorrow. And I mean, I could get on a soapbox and preach about this all day, but it's not that difficult. And it doesn't take that much time, especially, you know, if you work with me, I will do the best I can to take up as little time as possible with you for this, because you do have other things to do and other things that are more important to do after this is taken care of. I don't understand it well enough to buy it. That totally makes sense, because there is a lot of garbage out there and there's a lot of different stuff. So I don't want to go into too much of all the different options that are available, but essentially, if you tell me what you want, I'll go get that. If you want a quick rundown, I have what's called a 10-minute lesson on life insurance, and it'll give you the basics enough to understand what you're buying. But most importantly, if you trust the person that you're buying it from, you know, hopefully me, but if you have a great relationship with somebody else, that's fine. I'd rather you have it not with me than not have it, or not have enough, or not have the right kind. So if you trust the person that you're buying it from, let them help you. One thing that is really cool with us is I am not captive to one company. Yes, I use the Transamerica software just now. They're one of, I don't know how many life insurance companies we have, but we have over 350 different companies total that we partner with, that we help clients with various things. So this is just a little page of what we call our platinum providers, right? These are super, super awesome guys. But then this little page with a teeny tiny print is everything, you know, that we can do. So if anybody wants that, I'm happy to give it to you. But point of the story is, if I worked for New York Life, the only life insurance I could sell is New York Life. And so even if they didn't have the best product for you, I would just try to convince you that you want one of their products. And I'm not saying New York Life is bad. I'm just saying it's a really good thing to have somebody that can shop around for you to make sure that you get what your family needs. Okay. Number 6, I find the process intimidating. I find a person that can make it less intimidating. I have other financial obligations that are more important. So let's think about this. Yes, vacation is more fun than sitting down and buying life insurance. But if you need the life insurance, like literally, like if your spouse passes away or you pass away and leave your family without that second income, how many vacations are they going to be spending? So, I mean, it's priorities. And I don't think anybody, sorry, my brain just stalled. I don't think anybody expected COVID to come up, right? And because they didn't have the right priorities with saving and investing and having things in place, they're now in the situation they're in. I don't trust insurance companies or agents. So I can totally understand that. And I will actually copy and paste this into the little chat section if you want to see, you know, their little example about that. But my plea to you there is, I was talking with Becky from River Legacy yesterday. We did a little one-on-one, and I realized I've been doing this for 10 years, which is really weird to me because I don't feel old enough to have been doing any career for 10 years, much like this is my career. This is what I do. I have policies on myself and my kids and my siblings and people that I personally love. Like, I don't do things for other people that I wouldn't do for my own family. And so, you know, find somebody that you do trust, because I'm sure there are untrustworthy people out there, but there are also trustworthy people out there. So please don't let that hinder you. I'll get to it eventually. That goes along with I have other more important things to do since I only have 6 minutes. We're going to get to the next one. It makes me think about death. So Sorry, suck it up. Unfortunately, unless Jesus comes first, you're gonna die at some point in time. So wouldn't you rather be prepared for it instead of not prepared for it? I mean, it is what it is. So I posted that article, if you actually want to read the whole thing, in the chat box, and I want to show you real quick. I actually have this really cool brochure that kind of goes through all the reasons to buy life insurance. If any of you want it, let me know. I would be happy to give it to you. There was one specific one that I wanted to show you. Here we go. Most adults, 3 and 5%, 3 and 5, 59%, already have some form of life insurance coverage, individual or group, right? So first of all, that means 51% don't have any whatsoever, which is a huge problem. But the second problem is some form of life insurance coverage, usually they don't have enough. And most of those people, what they have is through work. So through work life insurance, if it costs you like $2 a paycheck, it doesn't hurt anything, knock it out. But 99% of work policies do not pay out a death benefit because you are 99% likely not to be working at that job or any job when you die. Because most likely, unless you're just a super dangerous person, you're going to die after you've retired. And you don't usually get to carry that life insurance with you into retirement. I had a client that was in that exact same situation. He was 79 years old and he'd never gotten individual life insurance because he's always had life insurance through work. But now to get a 79-year-old license or a 79-year-old life insurance personally, that is not $50 a month. That is significantly more. It's still possible, but when it came down to it, he didn't want to pay that much per month. And so all the more reason to, while you're not 79 yet, get some that you own yourself so that no matter how long you work or short you work or whatever, your life insurance is not dependent on your work. Okay, 2 things really quick, and I will be done. And then if anybody wants to ask questions, they can. Right now, we are expanding like there's no tomorrow because there's so many people that need our help, and there's so many people that need work. So this is just a very general breakdown of what it costs to get started, because we don't hire people on a salaried basis or an hourly basis. It is commission. So you go out and get your license. That's that little summary there. And then we are doing a fast start bonus program right now, where if you do what we ask you to do, we're going to give you a $350 bonus check and take you out to a fancy dinner. And it's your choice whether you want that fancy dinner to be now and we all sit 6 feet apart, or, a couple months down the road where, it's not so socially distanced, but whichever one. So if you know somebody that would be interested, I will take people that are looking just for some part-time something. We can do this kind of in a very part-time, spare time referral type of way. And if somebody thinks they would like a career change, then I'd be happy to talk to them too. So please let me know. And then last but not least, let me rearrange my screen here. If you would do me a favor and get out a Post-it note or get out a little pad of paper real quick, I am going to ask a couple of questions. And if you have somebody pop into your mind that fits in one of these categories, please write their name down. I'm not asking you to give it to me right now. I'm just asking you to write it down. Okay.
1 minute, Kelly.
Huh?
1 minute.
Oh, okay. 1 minute. I'm checking the chat box. Doesn't look like anybody asked questions. Okay. Since I only have 1 minute left, and I realize that's probably what Dwayne was just telling me. Do you know anybody that just got married? If you do, please write their names down. Do you know anybody that just had a baby? Everybody should write my name down because I'm about to have a baby. Do you know anybody that just got a divorce? Anybody that just changed jobs? Anybody that retired? Anybody that is talking about retirement? Anyone that just bought a house or sold a house? Anybody that was laid off recently? Anybody that has parents that live with them, or maybe even adult children that live with them? Do you know anybody that has a side hustle? Do you know anybody that is a stay-at-home parent? Okay, I'm out of time, so I'll stop. But if you feel like I am a person of integrity who does what I say I'm going to do, I would very much appreciate, here, I'll type my phone number in here. I think everybody has it, but just in case, 817-938-5614. Okay. Oh, apparently I just did that to Robert Blake. Hold on. That wouldn't be everyone. Okay, everyone should be able to see my phone number. Please text me and set up a one-on-one with me so that I can help you help those people, okay? And we'll do it however makes you feel comfortable. But basically, all of those people need to talk to me. I promise you, on everything that I hold dear, I am not going to hardcore run them over. Okay, Dwayne's cutting me off. But I would love to help them and add value to their life. So with that, apparently I'm done. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Thanks, Kelly. I hate to cut people off when they're on a roll, and she's got so much good information. But in interest of everyone's time, it's time to go. So I will be taking our information to BDAC tomorrow and let you know what the chamber has decided on how we can go forth and meet as a group and in person. And until that, if you've got any questions or want to text me or email me, go ahead and we'll get that to them as well. With that, we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great afternoon.
Would you like some ice water? Want some ice water?